consistently and they're going to be available to start camp. It's showing improvement every day, seeing them get themselves better every day and adapting to competition. We're going to do a lot of different things during training camp and moving them around in different positions because we want our guys to be overall receivers. There's certain things some guys are going to specialize in that others won't. But overall, man, we want our guys to be able to do everything. So we're going to put them in some challenging situations throughout camp. We're just going to watch how they respond to them. Once they show that they can get past that point, we'll feel really good. We got to go out and compete against somebody else.
Squirrel was obviously a little bit banged up during the spring, but since then it seems like he's put on some really good weight.
Who's that?
Squirrel White.
Okay, yeah.
He's put on some good weight since the spring. It seems like he's gotten back to himself. What are you seeing from him as camp begins?
Oh, man, he's fast. He's fast. You see his speed, it stands out in anything that we do, even if it's a conditioning run, with our strength coaches. You watch that speed and it's natural. Him running fast, it comes easy to him, and that stands out big time. So we're excited to have that in our offense.
And obviously a couple of additions to the room since the spring. Gavin Blackwell coming in, also Tariq Mallory enrolling.
Yeah.
They've only been here for a short amount of time, but just what have you seen from them so far on the work they're putting
in? Gavin, we talked about him a little bit. Just Gavin's a veteran, so he's been in college football at this level for a long time. So just him being able to show his experience and how he operates every day is something that stood out to us and something that our group needed more of. So very pleased with him. And Tariq has done a good job since he's gotten here, just getting acclimated to college and getting acclimated to college football. He's done a really good job of responding in that way too. So, who else did you ask about? I missed.
Tariq Mallory and Gavin Blackwell.
That was it, just Tariq.
Yeah, just them.
Make sure I didn't miss anybody.
Duce with that frame. He seems like a guy who's really physical in some of that tight coverage situation. Like how has he shown that to you maybe in spring, and what do you think he can do out there?
Yeah, there was some time in the spring ball where he did a really good job making contested catches, and that's something that he's going to have to do at a very high level, in our offense. So, I think he's up to the challenge. Duce is a guy that he's a workaholic, and not only from a physical standpoint, but just studying his opponents and all that. That's something he really takes control of himself, and I've been very pleased with just his work ethic on and off the field right now. It's been really good, but the definitely contested catch is going to be something he has to do at a high clip, and I got the utmost confidence he'll be able to do that.
The three oldest guys that you have in that room are going into their first year at Florida State, and then you've got a bunch of young guys that are obviously still coming along in their careers. Who this offseason has kind of developed into the voice or guys that are becoming leaders for the wide receivers?
Duce and Squirrel, definitely guys that have done a great job of leading. When you watch them work and when you watch how our younger guys respond to them, you wouldn't know that they were guys that just got here this past spring. So I think just them being able to operate every day and build confidence in the guys, but also earn the respect of the guys that were here is something big. But that's exactly what we wanted when we set out to go find some veteran experienced players.
Jalen Lucas isn't necessarily a receiver, but I mean, what he can do as far as finding openings and defenses.
Jalen's done a really good job as a receiver. I guess I know his skill set. He can be used in a lot of different ways in our offense, but he's done a really good job when he had to be at the receiver position. He's done a really good job of showing that he can do everything that it takes to play at a high level in that position. So.
Makai Danzy and BJ Gibson are now fully back with you guys after participating in their dual sports. What are you expecting from them now going into camp and them being fully back with the team?
First of all, I know they're both excited to be back. So that's number one, just their excitement and they're getting this to be back out there competing with the guys is something that I'm really excited for them as well too. But just Makai, his speed factor that he brings to the table and certain things that we can do with him in our offense, we're all excited to see that on a daily basis now. BJ got some super explosiveness. He's also a guy that brings speed to the room, some toughness. So we're excited to have him back too. But the competition right now is set up really good at all of our receiver positions, and I'm looking forward to watching those guys throw themselves all into that.
What's it been like for Makai? Because he's making that transition from running back to wide receiver. How's he doing?
He's handled it well. He's a guy that I think even last season there was some time late in the season that they started to kind of work him at different as a receiver in different ways. So it hasn't been completely new to him since I've gotten here. But you just know that when he's played running back his entire life, there's a learning curve there with as much we put on him. But we're gonna try to do a really good job using him to his strengths and putting him in positions to be able to make plays in a lot of different ways.
People might think because he's very fast and athletic, that, oh, it's probably not that much of a transition. Go catch the ball.
Yeah.
But there are people that have been catching balls that have been there for 50 yards since they were 10. That's an adjustment, right? Just tracking the ball.
Yeah,
is an adjustment.
tracking the ball is probably he's done it at his other position, but there's just a lot of other things that come with the position that's different. Just the route running, the ability to sink your hips and get in and out of breaks and do that smoothly and fluidly. So those will be the things right there that we're working and continue to develop him in more than anything. But catching the football, that's something that comes pretty natural to him right now. But it's all those other little things when it comes to the position of creating separation, probably differently than he normally has, that we'll continue to develop.
And we've heard so many good things about Duce, not just the way, how well he's playing, but kind of the work ethic that he's. How much can that trickle down to so many young guys watching the more experienced guy work like that?
Yeah, that's what you wanted to, and it has. You see that with him because he, when he got here, it was a lot of him, just probably getting comfortable with us, getting comfortable with his teammates, and he knew how to push himself. He was a self-starter for him, but now when you see him doing a lot of these extra things, there's other guys that he's bringing along with him. There's younger guys that stand doing extra things with him. So, and that's really what you want from a veteran player. And they can go ahead and take younger players under their wings and start bringing them along to show them the way that he knows that he's not going to be here forever. You want to make sure that he leave our position group and our offense and our team in really good hands. So he's done a good job of being the leader that we need him to be.
What do you foresee the competition? Like, I think people kind of assume that Duce and Squirrel are going to play a lot because they came here and they played a lot in their past. But that third receiver, and I know maybe you don't even view it like that, but how do you see that competition playing between the likes of like Elijah and Lorraine and Javon and guys like that?
Yeah, like I said, we got a long list of guys that I can sit here and name them all because they all going to be dead in the middle of this competition going into camp. And those two guys that you mentioned before, they're in a competition every day too. There's going to be a lot that they have to show on a consistent basis because, in the spring, like all of them had their times where they were missing and not there. So this is going to be the first time where we got all of our guys that are listed on our roster in practice every day. And, I'm not going to wood, you want them, but at least they're starting. They're all starting training camp. So I'm excited about that. But the competition between all of them is going to be, very exciting. It's going to be very competitive. And us as coaches, we're excited to see how it all plays out.